Why can't I hear you? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Jesus. Yes, I can hear you now.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. I just wanted to go ahead. I want you to know that we are live on all of our platforms so everybody can see your scam right now.
Oh, so they
Everybody
can
can see.
I'm glad I have my junk hanging out.
Yeah, everybody can see you walking around. I just want just let people understand that that's you. That's your scam.
Yeah, that's me. That's how I roll.
Yeah. But no, I really wanted to actually get with you today and make sure that we address our audiences, because we have people that are reaching out to us. Believe it or not, like I said to you the other day, which I'm going to read this to the public, because I do believe that is something that the public needs to hear. We actually have people that are reaching out to us for our assistance, which means that what we're doing is starting to reach the public. And so I'm going to share this with the public real fast. Just a quick email that we received last night. And it says, "Hi, I follow you on Facebook FCN News. I have a question. We want to file a pro se lawsuit in Chicago. We have most of the complaints put together. We need to get witness statements for the case. What's the best way to get them? Did you hire private investigators to collect the witness statements for your lawsuit? How did you do it? We need some help with our case, and we can't find lawyers." So I think that's a good place for us to start right there, you and I today, talking with the public as to what we have, what we started, and what we have to offer those in the public that may need us for assistance. What is it that we are? What's the basis of this whole FCN thing? And I think it can't just come from me, because part of our FCN mission started from just not only my story, but your story as well. And your story has a lot to do with FCN. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and give you the floor right now, because they hear from me all the time. It's time for you to talk, because I want you to be on all of our platforms so people can recognize exactly who you are.
Okay, yeah. Bill Amato and FCN. The reason for it is we're out here to expose what we like to call corrupt public officials operating, whether they're in their office operating incorrectly or whether they're doing it on their own personal time. We're looking to expose their corruption. Police officers, mayors, attorneys, we don't really care what kind of office you hold. Even big corporations we're looking to expose. We're not looking to go after the little guys most of the time, but sometimes there's a little guy that wants to just keep pushing people's button. Like Marquise right now is kind of dealing with one of those guys, and he's going to have to learn to, just kind of leave people alone. We're not out here to harass anybody or to bother anybody, but we think that the exposure of these, acts of breaking the law against people like myself, Marquise, people like you out there that are watching this right now, it's got to stop. And the only way to stop it is to expose them and put the pressure on the people that have the ability to get them in trouble for what they're doing. So, the exposure is the key. I'm driven by this because of the fact of how they accused my daughter of doing something she didn't do. Marquise is being driven by being denied his rights to have his business covered by insurance from break-ins and all types of, it seems like, discrimination and racism, no doubt about it. That's what I see and interpret, and my opinion says that. We've ran it through different avenues to see if that is the same interpretation that those avenues had gotten, and it's the same. So we feel what we have going is a good thing, and we're going to press forward and share the things that we discovered with you guys. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. And realistically, like I was sharing with the public earlier today, I wanted everybody to understand that, what we've done with the Supreme Court case is so monumental, because even when you look at you can Google it yourself, you can look it up. There are seasoned attorneys that never even reach the Supreme Court. And so even if we were to get all the way to the end and they said, nope, take it back down to a lower court or whatever the case may be, that all in itself is monumental. And when you turn around and add in the fact 110 exhibits of evidence attached that have been signed, documented, and on the docket accepted by the clerk of courts without the assistance of an attorney, by the way. I mean, think about this, if you had to hire an attorney and spend the money for 10 exhibits, how much would that cost you?
A whole lot of money. Couldn't even imagine.
I mean, we're probably talking about 6 to 7 figures. I mean, and don't get into a point where you're defending your freedom. I mean, that we know the scam continues to grow if it comes down to you fighting for your rights and you're basically fighting against the prosecutor for your freedom. The scam gets deeper with what it costs.
Yep. Not to mention, to even get an attorney to even want to put the time into any one case like this, they're just not going to want to. If they can't win it, if they can't see that they can just win right off the bat and it's an easy win, they generally don't want the case.
Absolutely. I mean, and we see it with our own scenarios here with these attorneys. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't want to get into a fight that, what I'm seeing with my specific case that I can prove it. Most of these attorneys do not want to get into a fight with an insurance company that they may have to defend later. And unfortunately, State Farm is one of the biggest insurance companies in America. No attorney wants to be on that bad end of the stick with them because the truth of the matter is they may have to defend State Farm one day, and State Farm will pay them some pretty money to defend them. So they don't want to get into the fire with the insurance companies. That's what I'm seeing. That's why you don't see too many attorneys that fight up against State Farm. But they got a whole lot of attorneys to defend them.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Think about it like this, too. One thing that they always keep track of, now this just came to me. One thing that attorneys always keep track of, prosecutors and all of that stuff, is their win-loss record, right? How many cases they won, lost, blah, 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 blah. According to what they are supposed to be representing as a attorney or prosecutor, is just seeking out the truth, making sure that truth is represented correctly, making sure justice is represented correctly. How can you do that when you're keeping track of a win-loss record? You're not interested in truth. You're interested in win-loss, because as the system put it, if we go into court and we settle, right, that doesn't count as a plaintiff win. So that doesn't count as a win for me. It'll count as a win for them because they didn't lose a case.
Exactly.
Because we'll settle out of court. And see, that's the kind of bullshit stats that they use to try to deceive you and I, to make them think how good of an attorney they are, when all bullshit aside, all they're doing is cutting fucking deals that just go to their record to make it look a little bit better. But, it goes towards a loss as the other person, for the attorney on record. Therefore, the attorney that would take this case wouldn't take the case because he would have to settle in the case, and it's going to be a loss for him because he's not going to show a win in the court as a attorney for the plaintiff. However, the defendant attorney is going to show as a win because of the fact that they're not going to show a loss.
That's right.
That's fucked up. That's why you guys can't find an attorney.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And then at the end of the day, when you look at all of the misconduct, even in my case, I mean, we can look at Zach DeSilvis, and I'm calling his name. I'm not going to get silenced on my platforms when I know I have an open case against this guy and he's a respondent in the case. I'm not going to stop talking about the guy. His name is on the public docket. If you are mad at his name, if he's mad, because I'm going to say this right now, if he's mad because I'm saying his name, well, then do something about it, buddy, because your name's on the public docket. I have a right to read what the public docket says. And, buddy, it basically looks like to me, according to the docket, that there might have been some collusion with Zach DeSilvis and Shinover, when it comes down to state farm. There's no way it could not have been. When you think about what happened and you think about how all of a sudden right before trial, I'm told you either accept less than what you're expecting, or you might face criminal charges, or you have to refile the case and I'm not going to be representing you. That all in itself.
So the conclusion that you've come to is you feel that they were in collusion, and based on all the information that you read, and that is your opinion that you have come to that conclusion. You're not saying that that definitely happened, but that's the conclusion you come to based on your opinion. Am I correct, brother?
Based on my opinion, but based upon the public record of exhibits that show it.
I understand, yes, sir.
So I mean, once again, I'm not saying anything to you that is not already on the public docket with the Supreme Court. That is the strength that I have given this case. Is when I talk about it, I'm not talking about only just my opinion. You can go to the Supreme Court docket right now and read my opinion with the attached exhibit that has the evidence that supports my opinion.
I just wanted to make sure that, you're not out here, and people know that you're not out here, and especially if the little ears are listening out there, that you're not making slanderous statements today. You have evidence. Yep, you have evidence to support the conclusion that you have come to, and it's on the docket.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything about my opinion or anything. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not saying anything I'm going to do to you. I'm saying simply on the public docket with the state of Ohio, it shows the misconduct by multiple attorneys, not just Zach. So we can call Zach, but let me call Lori Thompson, which is State Farm's attorney, who lied on the docket. Literally, this is a procedural violation. What do I mean by this? She filed with the Supreme Court that she wanted to dismiss the case based upon whatever her hippie horse scam was. She did not serve me. I got notified by the Supreme Court that she filed an answer. And what did I do? I filed a response. And then I notified her like I'm supposed to. This is civil rules and law. It's what the Supreme Court rules are. Every attorney is supposed to know this. Okay? She waited 32 minutes after I served her with my response to serve me with the dismissal motion. That is a 1,000% violation. Why can't we talk about the scam?
I think what we should talk about, because your situation and my situation as far as procedural are the same. These people are not denying, they're not trying to fight the fact that they did wrong. They're trying to skate and get out of this under Ohio rule, blah, blah, blah. We want you to dismiss the case. I don't know, because my asshole hurts. Whatever the case may be, right? I mean, this is kind of how they work this out. And they're not you sorry, bro.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I need you to continue to be you. I cannot have you being somebody different when we're live. I need you to be you. That's what makes us unique. So no way.
I try not even to laugh at those stupid stuff.
But it was funny. It was funny to me.
So but let's go back to some of the stupid shit that they've said that was just downright stupid and just deserved a "here's your fucking stupid" award. So what was the one lady? Oh yeah, so they've got your DNA on record at Swanton Police Department.
Yep.
This is in Ohio, y'all. And they've got his fingerprints, whatever other DNA or stuff that they have taken from him that should not be on the record, because on the police report, this guy was listed as a victim, not a suspect. He hasn't been at work for 2 weeks, and they drilled him as if he was a suspect and took his fingerprints and all of that stuff. Excuses to exclude you from being a suspect. Well, motherfucker, you know what? First find the prints of the guy who did it. and then run my fingerprints against those prints, but you don't even have the prints of the criminal, let alone, but you're still holding on to his prints. That's kind of what the point that Marquise has, is that you contain his personal private property, which is his DNA. His fingerprints are his personal private property. He doesn't allow those to go into the property of anybody unless he is applying for something or it is needed for something. But to you just to take it from him, nah, that's not cool. And he's got a problem with that. So in his complaint that he mentioned, that one of the dismissal points that the attorney had tried to make in their letter is, what do you want us to do? Give them back? Oh my God. Yeah, bitch. If it means you putting them on a hard drive, flash drive, disk drives, fucking HD, whatever kind of fucking drive, I don't give a shit if it's a fucking golf driver. I don't shit. Doesn't matter. Put it on there, give it to them, and delete it from your system. That makes perfect sense. Yep. So she tried to be a stupid idiot, but at the same time, she said something very fucking stupid and deserves that. She deserves that. She's an idiot.
But here's the thing. Even what you're saying, and I appreciate that. You're right. They should give them back. But the thing is, we see that there's such scams that we couldn't even trust what they gave us back. We couldn't trust it. Would you really believe that they truly gave me the master copy of my DNA? That's why they need to be punished. Because at the end of the day, even if you gave me a disc back, I don't know if that's the real disc. I don't know if that's the full disc. You can put my fingerprints on any crime right now because you have access to my DNA that I willfully gave to you because I was trying to follow the procedure. I didn't know it was illegal what they were doing to me. It's a complete scam. I'm the victim. You assholes take over an hour to show up to the business that takes over less than a minute to walk to from the police department. Now, I worked out there as the finance manager at McScamalay for 7 years, and I promise you, every single morning, there were mornings I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the police were just sitting in the parking lot with nothing to do. McNeil's was 6 miles away from the police. I was 0.2 miles away from the police. My alarm goes off at 6:25 or 6:45, and you all don't show up till 7:15, and then I'm blamed as a suspect? I'm fingerprinted. And then I walk into the word nigger spray painted on my walls, and you think I'm not supposed to believe that this was a hate crime in the middle of Swanton, Ohio? And then the mayor sits back like he didn't know anything about this. When I got direct conversations of me reaching out to this scam, saying what his police officers did to me, how they interrogated me and separated me from my sister and told her, tried to make her frame me and me frame her. This all happened before there was even an attorney involved. And I got the documented evidence of it. But they got me on the police report as a victim, but yet I went through all of this as a suspect. And they think I'm not supposed to be angry about this. I'm a notary, and you got my personal DNA.
Yeah, we're definitely two guys that got to run into each other at the right time, man. So, I'm glad. I'm glad for our brother. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have ran into each other back in August. I think it was August or 21. I think it was.
I'll call his name Elder Terrence Pounds.
Yep, that's right, Brother Pounds.
Through Elder Terrence Pounds, we met each other, and we've been all connected. And Terrence Pounds is our other piece to this. He's our other brother. I'm gonna say it. I don't give a damn, and I wish somebody would try me on it.
Yeah, no, I ain't afraid to say his name, bro. You know that.
Oh, I know you're not. I'm just saying, I'm calling his name. I want it out there. That's our brother. Yes, that is our brother. And what they did to him was a scam. And you better believe we're looking into that too. We're looking into that too. You don't think we're looking into that state of Ohio? We are. Because at the end of the day, how do you judges sit on the bench and say to the person that you're sentencing, oh, we love you, or you know, not that we love you, but oh, you've done all of these good things, but yet you still hold them accountable for what they already served time for. That needs to change. That needs to change, in my opinion. You don't get to do that. And these judges, I don't know where they get off at. You were appointed or elected to judge and interpret the law. That is as far as it goes with you. How does a guy an attorney walk into a judge and say, sign a protection order because I feel bad? Because I have anxiety? Because my wife has to remind me to eat every day? How does that happen in America? I thought you had to have some type of a threat before you get a protection order against somebody. And then they snatch my Second Amendment rights because of it? Affecting me from working? I've literally lost 2 job opportunities because I can't carry a gun right now because of a fake ass protection order that an attorney put on me. And they think I'm just going to be quiet about it? Shinover Law Firm, you are a scam. And you know why? Because there's a lawsuit against you too in Lucas County Common Pleas. Look it up. We're not out here to play games. We're out here to hold people accountable. The one word that comes with FCN Watchdog Media audience is accountability, exposure. We don't only bring you accountability, help you with accountability, we help you with exposure. Because guess what? The news is selective of what they want to expose.
Yep.
They tell you unless they can put them in the spotlight, they won't put what the truth is on the news. It's biased and one-sided. Just like Trump says, it's fake news, all of them.
Yep. And guess what? Guess what, brother? Under my and I'm going to use my daughter's case law as a means of sitting in on your trial as your assistant and still be able to be a witness. Because you remember that blonde lady that sat in the court for 2 days that you were there in my daughter's trial? And her name was Kate Brown. She was a witness. She testified to collecting the video for my daughter at that drunken nacho place.
No, I think I wasn't there that day. I remember I didn't come till the second day of the trial.
Yeah, you was there the second day and the third day. So,
yeah,
so that blonde lady that was sitting in the front row with the ponytail, she had the gun on her. She was another fire investigator. She was
really?
Yeah, she was a witness, but she got to sit in there all 3 days of the trial. That's why I have her named on this lawsuit. She's named in there too. So because she must have had enough to do with it to where she was allowed to sit in the witness the whole entire time, as I should be allowed to sit in the witness the whole entire time, because I'm your main witness to this whole thing, as I would have been the main witness to that whole thing. And she was a main witness to that whole thing. So under the same case law, I should be able to sit in the courtroom with you.
on state farms?
On not necessarily on state farms.
No. I was going to take you there. I think you can sit in there with me on state farms. You know why? You know why? Because you were involved with the conversation with Zach when it came down to the whole you sign off on the property and get your property back. Weren't you on a call with Zach when it came to that, or you talked to him 3-way with me? Some kind of way you heard that damn agreement that Zach signed with that lady to give back that property. For me,
that was an in-person conversation that we had.
See, so now please tell the public right now from your mouth what you heard, sir.
Okay, so what I heard Mr. De Silva say, talking to you, is that he received an email, and it must have been by accident, because otherwise, this is like the smoking gun for your case, Marquise, is what he said. And in this email, basically was McSorley admitting to who she had spoken to, or admitting that she had talked to State Farm about your case being denied, and that he was going to use that because McSorley wanted her property back, and you had to sign off on it because it was under a land contract. It wasn't a regular lease tenant deal, you were under a land contract, so you were like the owner of the property. Technically, not her, you were. Under land contract, I believe that's how it works. Like a bank loan, similar kind of deal, right? Isn't that, am I correct? Kind of.
Yes, it was actually filed with the Village of Swanton. This was actually notarized. It was an agreement for me to purchase the building from her under land contract without using a traditional bank.
Okay, so then I believe she wanted the property back, but the only way for that to happen without, you know, going through a whole nother court case would be for you to sign off on it. So Mr. De Silva's idea was to say, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll sign off on it in turn for the testimony from Miss McSurley. And, you know, that was a good deal. I thought, yeah, hell yeah, that puts you in perfect position, Marquise. You're now going to be able to prove that these guys disclosed your information and all of that. Because, you know, at this time, I had no idea about law or anything of what was going on. I was learning a lot from Marquise and things that was going on. As a matter of fact, I didn't have a whole lot of interest in law, but I could see things that people could do wrong. So before even FCN was started up, which I'll get to in a minute, but anyway, that was the deal that they struck, was that McSurley will testify as to how she got the information from State Farm. Marquise would then release his release his ownership of the property that the store was. That's what where his store was that particular property that was under a land contract with Miss McSurley. That was where HCB distribution was. So later on, don't know what the fuck happened. Zach ended up turning around, signing off on the property on Marquise's behalf. No testimony was ever given. He gave some kind of horseshit reason. I don't even remember it. It was some legal mumble jumble shit that I didn't understand, and I always tried to go with Marquise to help him understand things, but I didn't really quite fully understand. I guess we were just kind of going off the trust of Zach. He seemed like a nice guy that was really trying to do the right thing, and at least that's what it seemed like at that time. Things seem a little bit different now as we start diving into, you know, law and things like that. And it's either, you know, like I said in the beginning, either one, we just took our case and dropped it in. Marquise took his case and dropped it into the hands of a guy who didn't know any better, and that guy should not have taken that case from the very beginning. Or number two, there was some type of collusion, and those are my opinions. Is that's what should have happened? Is this guy never should have taken the case? His firm never should have taken the case, or they knew what they were doing, and there was some type of collusion. My personal opinion. That is all that is. I have nothing other than an opinion about it, which I'm allowed to have. So, moving on to the whole thing with about FCN is that, you know, Marquise would bring me along to pay attention to things and to kind of be a second ear and, you know, help him understand things that he might not understand. It's always best to do that with anything all the time anyway. And throughout the course of this, I would be reading things and Marquise would show me stuff and I would read through stuff and start to discover things that were wrong. And then, you know, for example, the whole thing with them calling him braggadocious. How many times this attorney had his hands on this case for Marquise, and I had to be the one to discover braggadocious? Like me, I'm not no fucking attorney. I'm nobody. I had to discover braggadocious, and then bringing out what he was wearing and his clothes. Like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything? Apparently, that was part of the decision-making process because it was important enough to mention that Mr. Kimble came in braggadocious. That must be talking about the way he was dressed, because they went on to speak about his clothing, his tie, his jewelry. So I don't think they said much about his attitude. Did they say much about your attitude, Marquise?
No, they said I was braggadocious, and I'm trying to get the exact words because, you know, if they might be watching, whoever might be watching, I want to say exactly what they said. But they said that the client showed up wearing a blue suit with a loud tie with excessive amount of jewelry and was very braggadocious. That was the comments from State Farm's attorney.
I got you. So obviously that was taken into consideration because it was enough to put into the into their final report. That's what it was in, right? Their final report.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this wasn't their final report. This was actually in the attorney's determination about why the claim should not have been paid. Now, either I wasn't supposed to get these notes, or between the attorneys and all of the information that I have possessed over the last 3 years, that information somehow got to me. I don't know where it got to me, how it got to me, but it was sent to me exactly word for word what their attorney notated on the internal notes as they were determining our corporate claim. But then in the next breath saying, "Oh, this is a corporate claim, and we can't talk to you." Doing all of this with the court, saying these different things to keep the case from being heard to a jury. They kept saying arguments to the court. Well, he's not an attorney. Oh, this is a corporate claim and all of this. But then you made these personal comments about me personally. So from day one, it was never about a corporate claim. If that was the case, you wouldn't. Where's the personal comments about my partners? Why was I the only one called to be disposed? Or that was a question. Why was I the only one to be questioned? If you know that this is a corporation with records on file with the state of Ohio since October or November 22nd of 2019. So State Farm messed this thing up all the way around, but the braggadocious comments and all of the racially charged things that happened, Zach kept telling me, don't say nothing about that stuff. Don't bring up the Swanton Police Department because you're going to mess up your bad faith claim. I'm not equipped to handle civil rights, but I wouldn't bring that up right now. He told me that for a whole year. So the Swanton Police.
So that right there should have been see, that right there should have been the whole thing. He told you, I'm not equipped to handle civil rights. This entire thing is a civil rights.
Exactly, but it was never orchestrated as that. It was never orchestrated as that because it was never properly sent to the court from day one. Zach left out all kinds of stuff when it first went to Fulton County. He did not, even though he mentioned the braggadocious, that should have been something that should have been brought out. Since we've studied out law together, I found out that is one of the most important parts of this case. You can study it out. Anybody wants to look it up themselves, you can look it up yourself. Unless you are involved in a physical injury, meaning that I was in a car accident with you, and the attorneys have to notate what my appearance looks like. Well, then that's a little different, but even then, it's still a red line on what you can say. You don't get to say the tie is loud, excessive jewelry, unless you are trying to fit me for a description of a thief. Then why are you saying anything about my damn jewelry that I still wear to this day and it's never been any more or any less? It's the biggest thing State Farm did that was wrong. And it took you to find that. Then let's go ahead and skate on over to what happened in court this past month.
Yup.
With this protection order. We got called into Ottawa, or I got called into Ottawa County Court. Now, at first, I was just going to let this go. I wasn't going to even mention this thing. To be totally honest with you, I was going to let it go. When this attorney filed this fake-ass protection order, Shinover Law Firm, against me after he was being exposed for stalking all of my social media platforms. You want to explain to me like I'm a 2-year-old how that happens? I don't know. But he filed a protection order, and they took my weapon from me. Now, if I just wouldn't have went to court, the only thing that would have happened is the fact that I would not have been able to possess and carry my weapon until January 28, 2026. That's on the order, flat out. And so I was just going to say, damn, that's bullshit. But I was going to let it go. And it was Bill who said, no, you're gonna fight this. And I looked it up and I found out this is totally illegal because, for one, I never threatened this guy. And then some of the evidence that he gave to the Ottawa County Court was videos that I recorded on our platforms after he filed the protection order. So that means you're still stalking me after you put a protection order on me, completely violating the rules. And you said that, Bill. So when we went in there the first day to the court for this hearing, they put me and Bill in a closet. I laugh about it because it was a closet, is what I think. It was a room off to the side with no walls, I had walls, but no windows, just a door with a window on it. And everybody and their mother was walking past us looking in this room.
Remember, I had you get up. I said, check it, make sure it ain't locked, like they locked it.
Yeah, because it was 9 a.m. when they, what was it? The court was supposed to start at 9, and we got there on time. But somehow we never walked in there until about 9:17 or so.
Oh, not to mention when you got up there on the floor, the police or the deputy comes out and goes, "You're here for the protection order, right?"
Yeah. As soon as I walked in like these guys, here I walk in with some red shoes on, and you telling me as soon as we walk in. So then we go in there.
Well, that was the most racist thing I've seen that entire day.
I tell the public, I'm glad that you were with me in that courthouse, because I would have not gotten a fair shake at all in there at all. At all. They gave us all the signs that this is a down home, back down south, Robert E. Lee scam. And I'm glad that you were with me that had the same color skin as them. I'm sorry, because they were giving me the scam look in the beginning. And so then we walk into court, and first of all, the first thing that's a scam, they do something to keep him out of the courtroom, to keep Bill out of the courtroom away from me.
Bastard.
Can you give them the story of this whole court thing from day 1 and day 2, or do you want me to give the story? I think you tell it better.
Well, I wasn't allowed to be in there because I was listed as a witness. So I guess witnesses can't be in the courtroom until they've done their testimony part, right? So
I told the judge in the beginning you weren't going to be a witness, though. So start from the beginning and tell the scam.
So anyway, for me, I didn't even know who was in the courtroom. I just knew that Marquise was in there, and so was Mr. Shinover. That's all I knew. And all I hear, after probably an hour of sitting out there, I hear the voices of 3 different men. I hear Marquise, I hear the attorney, and I hear another guy's voice, and they're all raising their voice, and seems like 2 of them are raising their voice at Marquise. I was like, man, fuck this shit. So I got up and I went into the courtroom. I just went into the courtroom, and I went back there to sit down, and I was but then now when I walked in, I saw that there were 2 guys sitting at the desk where the attorney would be at. That other guy was his assistant. The other the judge was a woman. I had no idea because I hadn't looked in there yet. So when I walked in there, I was like, okay, so my perception of everything that was going on in here is fucking correct right off the bat. So I'm like, shit. I'm like, I go sit down, and they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm William Amato. And she's said, are you a witness? I'm like, no, I'm not a witness. And she asked Marquise, is he a witness? And he said no. And then the guy says, well, he is for us. And I'm like, I'm not going to be a witness. I'm not a witness for them, Your Honor. And he says, I think he said, yeah, you are, or something like that, or you're going to be, or whatever. And then as I walked out the door, his buddy had said to me, constitutional rights. And I'm like, yeah, I believe I have some of those, and walked right on out. So, the next day we come into court, me and Marquise, we had a little talk that night or whatever about some things. And, Marquise had a different approach when he went into the courtroom the very next day. And I had already drawn up a letter to give to the judge and the attorneys under the Ohio revised codes, blah, 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 blah. You know, they thought they were going to make me testify that day. You cannot do that. There's no way in God's green earth you can make anybody testify the same day. So if you ever guys get put in that position and you're in Ohio, they can't make you do that. Whenever you get a subpoena, it has to be for a later date because you have the right to consult with legal counsel and all of that kind of stuff before you're forced into a subpoena position. Nobody can make you do it. I don't think they like the fact that I knew that. So, you know, I brought that letter in on the table, put it on the table for them. They handed me my subpoena. They weren't going to make me testify that day because I would have had to have an opportunity to file motions on it. So there would have been a motion addressing two issues that I would have filed on that subpoena. They would have had to spend time fighting my fucking subpoena before they even get into their court case with Marquise. So if they think about doing that again this time, yeah, I'll file a motion on, and if the judge denies it, I got another motion I'll file on another one, and then I got another motion I'll file. It'll just keep fucking going is what it'll keep doing. Is I'll make this shit take up so much goddamn time. I don't really fucking care. You're not gonna fucking, I'll tell you one thing you're not gonna do as a judge or as an attorney is you're not gonna walk on my rights and think that I don't know the rights that I have on anything. And if you try to do it, I will file on the judge. I will put the judge in so much paperwork too. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a job. I'm retired. I do nothing but chill. I have nothing to do than to go after you fucks. Leave me the fuck alone, and I will leave you alone. I have no interest in you small guys. And hearing that this guy had videos of me all in his computer and shit too, stalking me, man, I have a good mind to do some filing of my own and make his life miserable, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna chill on that. He's got enough problems with you, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Like I said, we're not necessarily after the small guy, so I'm not gonna beat my fist into this guy legally beat my fist into this guy, not beat my fist literally, physically doing damage. That to be understood, because it seems like this guy gets really freaked out when you say stuff, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And you know, I want to make that clear. You know, I don't know. Delta,
Right.
no, come here, come. Sorry, come.
Right.
Go lay down. Go on, go lay down. You're barking at nothing. Just gonna go out there and bark again.
Right. So, you know, so basically the second day when we went back into court, you know, you had prepared me. Like, I want you guys to understand, like this is what's so unique about what we've done is I did not know, because I thought this was just going to be a quick, guess what they told me was this was supposed to be an hour-long event going in there to this protection order scam. However, it turned into a 2-day trial. And I didn't understand what to do or how to be prepared on what to do. So Bill, he's discrediting himself a little bit here. No, he actually told me, look, guy, he looked at me like I was a 2-year-old and said, look, if whatever the heck this guy brings up tomorrow that has nothing to do with the protection order, I want you to say the word, I object. That was important for me, because that guy was beating me up the first day. I went in there just thinking that this was something that I could go in there and say my side of the story, and that was it. No, he literally put my videos on the screen, showed the judge, and tried to prove to the judge after he said to the judge on the record that he's not in fear of his life. That's the scam right there. So you tell the record, I'm judge, I don't want to be here. I'm not in fear of my life. Well, then why in the hell would you put a protection order against somebody and use the legal system to criminalize them? That's where the scam and the law was broke here.
Yep.
And he's going to have to pay for that. I don't care what anybody says. He can be upset all he wants. He's going to pay for what he did. And then let me tell you this, guy. I found out yesterday they set a court date for the show calls for me in Ottawa County. Guess when the date is?
When?
February 1st. So wait a minute. Let's play this out correctly here. You're going to hold my gun until January 28th. I filed in Lucas County to vacate this scamified order. The judge has not responded yet. Ottawa County judge sets a date for me to come back to court on February 1st to show cause of why I allegedly stalked him. Please help me understand that, Bill. Please break that down to me like a 2-year-old. What do you think's happening here? What do you think? I need your mindset.
I don't really know. I think it's just part of the procedure.
No, I'm just saying from the perspective of what the scam is. Do you see a scam in there? I feel like it's a scam because of how the dates are stretched apart. Why is it all the way in February of 2026? That court ain't that damn busy, guy. You seen the court with me. We walked in there. They could have court after Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, but it'd be definitely worth going down there with, if we could take some more people with us, that would be definitely good. But listen, I want to read to you the definition of stalking, okay? Because like I said, this definition that Ohio law or whatever has for stalking, stalking is defined as unwanted and or repeated surveillance or contact by an individual or group toward another person. So far, this guy meets the true fucking definition of stalking because he was doing continued repeated surveillance on you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So either he was doing it or somebody else was doing it. That is the fucking definition of stalking.
Well,
hold on. It can include behaviors such as following the victim, monitoring their activities, or making threats. Stalking is characterized by a consistent and intentional pattern of behavior that persists even after the victim has asked the stalker to stop. Victims of stalking have various legal recourses available depending upon the severity of the situation and the type of stalking behavior exhibited. If you know someone that's experienced stalking, or it's important to seek legal help. It has nothing to do with talking about somebody's fucking behavior and speaking the truth on a social media platform that you yourself have ownership of. Right. That has nothing to do with it. And they're saying stalking by menacing would be unwanted or repeated calling and talking about somebody. And here's a fucking tissue. Shut the fuck up. This is what I'm fucking saying, dude. This is fucking bullshit that they got on you. If anybody was stalking, he was stalking, and he was continuing to stalk after the protection order, and is fucking stalking me too, and put a protection order on me too.
Right. And to be honest with you, I mean, when you think about the protection order, yeah, he put the protection order, but let's see here. The law was actually broke here. Let me break it down for you on the law side of things. There's a civil rights complaint ongoing, currently pending before the Supreme Court, naming one of his partners as a respondent. You cannot monitor somebody when you're in litigation with them. That's another law that was broke.
I have a question. I have a very, very, very big question, because I guess his gathering of information goes back for about a month. He said from the date of the court date, right?
Yep.
When did you originally send in that evidence of the Shinover law firm letter? When did you actually send that in as an exhibit on your Supreme Court case?
Which one? What are you talking about? Like,
when is the very first one of a Shinover law firm thing that you sent? Because it was just recently that you talked to me about having emails and contact, and on it says Shinover law firm, and you submitted that as an exhibit. I wonder if when you submitted that as an exhibit, if that's when his fucking stalking of you began. If you submitted that as an exhibit to the Supreme Court and he filed for his protection order after you put that in exhibit, then there is your proof of retaliation, bro.
He did. He did.
There's your evidence.
And then also, I also have, aside of that evidence, I've got the digital stamp time of when he was visiting my social media platforms, and then he tried to delete it. And then all of this happened after. Then he filed the protection order. So I have evidence of him, first of all, stalking me back October 5th. He started stalking me then. October 6th, I put it everywhere, blew his ass up on every social media platform you can imagine. October 28th, after his ratings was dropped and his social media started being affected, he filed a protection order in Ottawa County Court to get me to silence me, to shut me up, when he was the one that was breaking the law.
So just make sure that you got the date of when you submitted that to the Supreme Court. The very first letter that says Shinover Law Firm on it that you submitted as part of an exhibit, you need that, because everything came after that, bro. And it'll completely show 100% retaliatory act on his part. 100%.
Yeah, I got that. I got that. I have that already ready for the proceeding against his ass in Lucas County Court of Common Pleas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all retaliation. All of it's retaliation.
And I'll tell you what, you gotta, if they don't let me go in as you know what, I'll have to talk to you about what the strategy. We're going to talk about that off air. So, because chances are these people in Ottawa County, they're not going to let me into the court as your assistant. I'm pretty sure that they're not going to. I'm guessing that the judge is probably going to not allow that to happen.
Well, we still have to wait for Lucas County, because if Lucas County overrules them and says that the protection order is a scam and it's vacated, I don't think I'd have to show up for that appearing anyway.
And what, they got my appearance going in December 14th or some shit.
Yeah, but why would they put mine on? Think about that, Bill. Why would they put mine all the way off till February?
Yep.
Look at the scam.
Yep. I just, Marquise, I got a strategy on mine too. And oh man, I'm not afraid, bro.
I know you're not.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Put me in jail? Okay. You put me in jail. What, okay. You're not going to lock me up for years. You're going to put me in there for a few days, maybe 30 days. I don't know, whatever. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I'm not afraid. Jesus.
Well,
that, you know what 30 days in jail would do for me, Marquise? I'm going to tell you what. It'll probably 100% put my diet under control. So I'm going to lose some freaking weight. You know what I'm saying? I would take that time. I would be in meditation. I would use that time to just motivate myself even more so when I get out. But I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I'll tell you why when we talk.
Well, but the reality of it is,
I've done it before, so
that's what makes us unique here, because your strategy is not my strategy. My strategy is not your strategy. Right. However, both of our strategies together is what created FCN. That's what we're trying to tell the public. Our strategies have now created a organization, and we're here to assist the public. And we have real-time people reaching out to us, asking for our assistance. You do not make it to the Supreme Court with over 100 exhibits without knowing something. Not only that, I gotta give some props to Bill here. He's got a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. We spent a lot of time talking about my situation here, But whatever he's comfortable saying to you guys about his situation, I think, Bill, you need to talk. You need to tell these guys, because he's fighting them. He's not fighting. He's got a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against multiple heavy players in the city of Toledo, Ohio, because of what they did to his innocent daughter. We're not letting this go. We're going to talk about this. And not only that, we've uncovered corrupt-ass, scamified prosecutors that shouldn't even be in office.
That's right.
Charles Roger Hall Jr., he's a scam. He literally told me and Bill to our face. He said, well, I heard him say it on the phone. I didn't see him say it. I heard him say it on the phone because I make sure everything we say is correct, because we don't want anything to be taken out of context because these people are watching us. However, I witnessed him say it to you on the phone. He said it to your face, and then we were swarmed, me, your grandson, were swarmed by a bunch of deputy sheriffs down at the County Court of Common Pleas, because this guy told you that he wasn't going to give you any information to help turn in one of his buddies. This is the type of scams that we have on our making the laws and judging the laws in Toledo. You're going to tell me nobody needs to call these people out on their scam? That's the part that bothers me, because nobody wants to call these people out. Nobody wants to say, wait a minute, you weren't elected to be a scam. We should be able to trust in you. He's got a complete corrupt fire inspector that still keeps his job every day, even though on the record he lied.
Yep. I spoke with his supervisor, the police chief, or not the police chief, the fire chief, Allison or Addison, whatever her name is. I can't even remember her name every time I say it, but she's on the lawsuit now. I did an amended complaint and she's on it now. She wasn't on it the first time, but she's on this amended complaint now. Her and Jeremy Vedra, because I spoke with them in, I think, April, and I told them about what they're doing to my daughter, as far as in court, and how this investigator that they have direct supervisory powers over, lies and has told so many lies to get my daughter prosecuted. And she's going to trial in June. And they said, well, we'll just let the courts handle it and we'll look at everything afterwards. So they're willing to take and put my daughter through that whole process, rather than taking a look at what's going on and saying, hey, we should stop this. They had the power to do it. They most certainly had the power to get involved and say, hey, listen, this evidence isn't correct. They didn't do it. But, this guy, this inspector, investigator is what he is. I sometimes keep saying inspector, but he's the fire investigator. He asked for a warrant for my daughter's phone, okay? And he got this warrant, and in the warrant, he said he wanted to find information 3 days before and 3 days after the fire. Fine, he took her phone. He went through it, and he went back as far as April. Now, the fire was in August, so August 27th. So we're talking, or August 24th. So we're talking of roughly April 21st to April 27th, giving a 3-day time, before and after the fire. But he went back as far as April, 5 months. Saw a conversation that and I'm going to talk about the conversation on air live. I'm going to say what the conversation was for the very, very, very fucking first time. I'm going to say what the conversation was. So my daughter is having a conversation with her current boyfriend, her fiance. She's been with him for a couple years now. And she was, me and my daughter, we had gotten into a disagreement back in April of 2024. And this is how far back the inspector decided to go, because he must have learned about my and my daughter's falling out that we had. I'm 3 months out of heart surgery at this time. I just needed help. Me and my daughter were having disagreements. Just the tension was just a little bit too much. And I think her trying to take care of me and just me going through some of my personal things caused us to clash. I said some things to her that I didn't mean to say. She said some things to me that she didn't mean to say, and I threw her out. And then I, told her she didn't have to leave, but she was so hurt by what I had said, she just left anyway. And she was gone for, I'd say, maybe about a month and a half or so. I didn't talk to her. I didn't see my grandbaby. So it was fucking destroying me during this whole entire time. Anyway, in this conversation that she's having with her boyfriend or her fiance, she went to her, I believe she went to stay with her grandma in Kentucky first, and then went to stay with the father of her child second. I'm not sure how that worked out. Really doesn't matter what order that happened in. She could have went and stayed with him first, then went with grandma. But anyway, in this conversation, she's talking to her boyfriend or fiance about needing a place to go. And she says that she can't believe that she's in a position to where she has to choose between being homeless or being sexually assaulted in front of her kid every day. And in this conversation, her fiance says, well, why don't you see about go living back with your dad? She says, I'd rather go kill myself. Okay. That conversation happened. Even in that conversation, because I kicked her out, her fiance called me a bitch in that conversation, right? So in this whole thing and the police report, the investigator lists that conversation on there, okay? And he lists it in such a way as if my daughter is indicating that conversation that she's having with her boyfriend, that she's actually having it with her fiance, that she's having that conversation with him about me. No, she was actually having that conversation with him about her baby's daddy, because the investigator didn't put all of the text conversation in there. And see, that's what I believe is part of what he used to deceive the grand jury to get them to press charges again, bring an indictment against my daughter. So what we have been asking for since all of this has begun, we've been asking and filed a motion. My daughter did. We filed an expungement, which Marquise had drawn up, and now my daughter's record is expunged. But this expungement served a purpose. Okay, it served two purposes. It served one, to remove my daughter's record, and two, it served as a purpose to keep the record open, to keep her file open, so other things could be filed into it, like a motion to get all of the court jury and all of that stuff. We need all of that stuff. That's part of our lawsuit. It's part of our evidence. It's part of our discovery. It's part of the freedom of information. We need all of this, okay? And the grand jury stuff is not. That's not freedom of information. You have to go through special procedures, state a particularized need, and all of that stuff for this kind of stuff. And that's what we're doing, to get all of this information, because this guy took and went in front of a judge, raised his right hand or left. I don't give a shit. Maybe he didn't raise hand. Maybe he had to lift his balls. I don't know. Maybe he had to tap his head and rub his belly, right? Maybe he had to do that. Who knows what he had to do in these fucking circuits of courts. But he went in there and said that he has video showing Reagan Amato, which is my daughter, lighting the building with an incendiary grenade, throwing an incendiary grenade at the building and setting it on fire. Listed the front of the building as being the cause of the fire where the incendiary device was supposedly thrown, the primary burn, which we've already proved that it was the secondary burn, okay? They wouldn't show the actual, I gotta stop. I have to stop because I was gonna say more than I needed to, because these are things I'm gonna blow their face off with in court. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at on that. So he lied to get that. As a matter of fact, that video doesn't show anybody throwing anything. It doesn't show a person, and it doesn't show anything being thrown. So you don't see shit thrown and you don't see a person, but he says the video shows my daughter throwing an incendiary device at the building. So he got his fake ass search warrant to go through my daughter's phone and make up a story that didn't even exist. So either this guy's a shitty investigator, right, which will remove his qualified immunity, right? A shitty investigator will do that, or he was malicious in his intent, which will remove his qualified immunity. Either one of those two fucking things, take it away, buddy. And you're fucking an idiot. And I'm going to prove you're either a fucking idiot or you're a fucking liar. And what I believe is you're a fucking lying idiot. That's what I believe that you are, bro. And I'm going to fucking take you down in this legal system. And I'm going to hopefully see your fucking children sitting in the fucking audience crying as they take your ass away. That's what I want to see, motherfucker. I don't like you, Mark Montgomery. You're a little bitch. And I want to see you taken down. And I hope to God that when you go to prison, that they get their fucking hands on you, man, and they use your bald ass head for some of the sickest fucking things that can be done to a man ever, you motherfucker. The end.
Oh my God. Now you left out some important details. I know we're not going to talk more about your case because out of the integrity of your case and the privacy. So, but what about Mr. K. Michael Gillum?
Yeah, Mr. K. Michael Gillum. This guy, when I bought my building that I did, which I paid cash for, by the way, because I used to actually own a vape business that had run for 10 years almost. And, it was a very highly profitable business. I did very well in that business. And when I say it generated about $7 million in income in the 9 years that it was running. That's how well of a business that business had done. Do I have all that money? No. Did I have a partner in it? Yes. Is she gone? Yes. Okay. There, gone, done. That's all I got to say about that. So now during this time, the K. Michael Gillum, I bought this building and I turned it into a bonsai business. That's what I was wanting to do. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it a business. I had to make it into a residence. And coincidentally, at that time, my daughter needed a place to stay. So I'm like, okay, in order to make it a business, I had to go through certain things with the state of Ohio, blah, 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 did it, whatever. So now it was a residence, but it was a residence that we lived in, and I had trees at my place, and I sold trees there, and bonsai trees. So this guy came to me, bought a bonsai tree. Don't remember what he bought, when he bought it, how he paid, whatever. But in the wintertime, I kept the what you would call the tropical trees inside of a greenhouse that was in the garage. So it was heated in there and it had the lights and everything, but it was a small greenhouse, just enough to keep those trees alive. So I make a post on Facebook anyway. A lot of you may not agree with me out there on this, but I don't really care. It is what it is. I enjoyed Charlie Kirk. I was a fan of his. I set a post on my business page that I hope, I said they killed Charlie Kirk. So sad. I hope 1,000 more Charlie Kirks rise up in his place. This guy gets on and he makes a comment. He says, good luck running a business, hoping 1,000 more fascists rise up. So it started an argument with me and him, me and another guy. Another guy hopped on defending me, blah, blah, blah. So it was just arguing on Facebook, right? But Mr. Gillum decides, I don't want to argue on Facebook anymore. I'm going to do something to bring harm unto you. I am going to leave your Facebook argument right now, and I'm going to the recommendations page of your Facebook page, and I'm going to leave a shitty review, and I'm going to accuse you of likely burning down your business and committing insurance fraud. That's what I'm going to do. So he goes to my Facebook page and says, bought a tree here I bought a shitty little tree here a year ago or whatever. It died. Probably burned the place down himself for an insurance scam. I'm like, oh, well, I guess you can't say that, can you? So I looked that up, and according to the law, that statement that he made was defamatory, and he did it with the intent to do harm unto me. Because I guarantee you, to this very fucking day, that would still be on there if it was allowed to be on there. Okay, if it was allowed to, and he knew that I couldn't take legal action, because as soon as I said, I'll see you in court on that post, he removed it. He deleted it, but not till I made a copy of it, of course. So, so his action was to literally want to do harm and physical damage to my reputation, to my business, all because of the fact that he couldn't handle an argument on Facebook because he wanted to be what I would call fascist like in nature. You know, a fascist would react out towards somebody else who doesn't agree with them and do harm to them, something to silence them, something that would cancel them. That's a fascist behavior. Getting into an argument with somebody because you agree with somebody doesn't make you a fascist. Stopping their behavior and punishing them, that is a fascist behavior. So he met the definition of what a fascist would be on that day. Um, and yeah, he said that about me. So yeah, I decided I did exactly what I said. I filed a complaint in the court of law, in the common pleas court, and I have a pending lawsuit against this gentleman now for defamation and seeking $250,000 in damages. Do I have other things that I could seek on that and other violations that are there? You know, probably, absolutely. But am I wanting to destroy this guy the way that he's wanting to destroy me? No, no, I don't want to destroy him, but I want to make him understand, you know, you need to learn how to act like a big boy. And if somebody doesn't agree with you, you don't try to destroy their life. Okay. You may not like the way I talk. You may not like the way I walk. Don't fucking talk to me then. Don't walk with me then. Don't have nothing to do with me. Don't follow me. Don't anything. You know, I don't fucking fit in a whole lot of places. You know, I may have this color of skin, but I don't fit in with most of you bitches, you know. And then on the black side, I may not have, you know, your color of skin. I fit in with a lot of, but a lot of you fucks don't like me either. I don't fit in a whole lot of fucking places, and I'm cool with that. So if you don't like the way that I walk, the way that I talk, the way that I do shit, just stay the fuck away from me. And then we're all happy. You have nothing to complain about because I promise you with everything in my soul, I'm not out looking to fuck with you, right? I'm not out looking to fuck with your walk. I'm not out looking to fuck with your talk. I'm not out to fuck with anything that you do unless you are out here fucking with people that don't deserve to be fucked with. Regular people that are out here, my neighbor, my friend across the street, whatever the case would be, my brother on this stream with me, the innocent neighbor of his next door, whoever the case may be. When you people in power out here fucking with us, I'm gonna be fucking with you. That's all I got on that.
Yeah. No, I mean that's pretty much sums it up. I mean, that's what we are about. We're about exposing the scam, and yeah, this was good. I'm glad we were able to do this today. We had a lot of people chiming in and chiming out, so we had a whole bunch of people watching us. We had looking at the stream here. We've had people across all of our platforms looking at us today, and then, like I said, we have people that are reaching out to us, genuinely wanting our assistance. So we're making our mark, Bill. We are actually making our mark. We are.
How's come they're not seeing your face should be on here? Instead, you got this damn Talk TV, and they can't see the minister.
Well, because I'm not dressed like the minister ML likes to be when he's live. So I have.
Ready to go live. You just tell me, oh, just throw on a hat.
First of all, I was ready to go live. What are you talking about? I started off with my sunglasses on, and I said, "That's not the right way to be. I look like a scam. I didn't want to look like a scam with sunglasses on. So I just said, let me take myself off camera because I am not dressed like I like to dress before I'm on camera. You know how I like to dress before I
got a shirt on, you got a hat on, take your damn glasses off.
It's not the same without the clothing that I.
So you have so you can't just be yourself. You have to.
I am myself.
Scam. You got.
I know.
Costume.
No, first of all,
all these ladies out here. You put on that damn fake ass makeup and all that costume. You put on your damn bag of lies. Bag of lies and make me think younger than what you are. And call me a pervert for liking young. You're fucking. See, these fucking women are sick, dude. They're fucking.
First of all, you cannot label my clothing as a costume. You scam. I don't like that. I don't
It is,
like that.
it is if you need it on to get on air.
When you're calling me a costume, it's too close to the braggadocious. It's too close. What do you mean costume? Costume and braggadocious fit hand in hand.
Well, all right. Well, fair enough. Look, come as you are.
I am. I just wasn't ready to. I saw myself on camera and I wasn't pleased. So I looked to the left and I looked to the right and I said that the best thing for me to do is turn the camera off. And then I can really express myself without worrying about how I look to the public.
Well, look at me. I'm a scam. I look, my background, you see my clothes hanging up there. You see, I got
that's your excuse because I have taught you how and what to do to create a background. I have shown you. You have not done it yet. That's your choice. You could have covered that up. Nobody has to see the scam.
I'm just saying I came as I am because that's how I is.
No, I think this was a good thing today, and I really thank you for spending out, putting your time out today, so we could give some time to our audience. Because really, to be honest with you, we've had more people watching today than we've ever had. Maybe it's because it's the holiday and people are on social media more and catching us because we're actually getting people watching us today. So that's pretty good. That means to me that at the end of the day, we're making our mark and we're doing what we set out to do.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. That's the goal. So, yep, hell yeah, that's what we want to do and get more people, that want to do what we're doing. So, if you guys want to do what we're doing, anybody that wants to learn how to do what we're doing, get a hold of us. There's, we can teach you how to do what we're doing, but we've spent a lot of time learning what we're doing. So what we teach to do what we're doing, it's not free. Okay. It's to learn how to do it. It's not a free thing. We we don't need anybody's money to go after corrupt officials. We don't need anybody's money to go after the people that are doing things wrong like that. However, for those of you who are suffering your own problems and stuff like that need your own legal help, and you don't have necessarily the money to fork out attorney fees to either start your own case on somebody or something like that, because it's very, very expensive, to pay for an attorney, when you can actually learn how to do some of this stuff yourself. There's nothing wrong with learning how to utilize, the correct tools to be able to, help you fight legally. We can help you learn how to do that. But, like I said, that's not free, and it's going to take a lot of our time to teach anybody how to do it. So if this is something you're interested in, hit us up directly. I think our contact information is somewhere in the stream, or Mr. Kimble can put it up somewhere on the screen for us to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'll put it up right now. And then another thing that I wanted to add to that, just as a sidebar, not only are we going to teach you, we want to teach you, but it's just like the church. At the end of the day, at the end of the church, here comes the offering scam. I don't want you guys to think that we're taking your money and we're funding our lifestyle, because that's not what this is about. This is about us getting our voices out there as big as we can across the United States. And that is unfortunately a cost attached to that. You don't get the airplay that you want when you're going after public officials. And guess what? They charge to be able to get this stuff out there, to get it across. What if we have to travel somewhere? I think all of that comes from the vision of what we're doing, and that's what your donations will take care of. So it's very important that we explain that to you guys, because I don't want you to think that we've developed something that figure out how to charge people without a law degree. That's not the case here. We have become strong pro se litigants, and we think that there should be more people equipped like us. Everybody should not have to be forced to pay some scamified attorney that's just going to take your money and literally prolong your case. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, you have anything else to add?
And yeah, and like I said, half the time for those of you guys out there that can't get an attorney, it's because of the fact there's a couple reasons. One, these attorneys that work together in the court system, they don't want to really fight with each other. Okay, they really work on a win-loss thing. This is something, if you're wanting to move your career forward, you're going to need to show many wins in your law, and you're not going to take things that are going to possibly bring you a loss. You're just not going to. You're not going to want to do stuff like that. So these attorneys don't want to take these civil rights cases or any of these cases where you want to sue your former employer or sue this or that for whatever the case may be. They just don't want to do it. And the ones that do it, they charge an arm and a leg, because if they're going to take the loss, they're going to make up for it financially, because if their career can't move them forward, your dollar will. You know what I'm saying? So knowing how to do things and being able to represent yourself, those are things that we can teach you how to do. We can teach you we can't create your arguments for you. We can't do your case or anything like that for you, but we can teach you how to do this yourself. And yeah, like Marquis said, if you want to give us donations, that's fine. Donations, all of that are going to help us to move forward. Those of you that want to be able to learn how to do it, that money will be going towards the same thing. Everything is just to make us bigger. We hope, like for me, we live in different situations. So, myself, I'm retired right now. I'm 55 years old. I'm good. I can live comfortably, probably almost every day for the rest of my life, just chilling, not going and traveling and doing all of the wonderful luxurious things. I own my car. I paid cash for it. I just bought it like 4 months ago, didn't I, Marquise? So I don't need this money for any of this stuff, but to move forward and not spend any more of our money, and to make ourselves bigger, to get out to more people, that's what costs money. And our donations, anything that we get, any monetary things that we get for FCN, currently at this moment going forward, is going to be used to move FCN forward and to strengthen our knowledge base that we can continue to pass on to people that want to learn from us. Excuse me. So yeah, there's the contact information there at the bottom of the screen. If you want to get a hold of us, reach out to the minister. He'll be able to direct you on how to do what you need to do to help us out. And we just thank you guys, those of you that are listening. And we're going to be here, and we're going to keep doing this every single day. And pay attention to our cases. We're gonna update when we have some things to update, right?
Yeah. And then just a sidebar to add to that, not only are we going to teach you the proper way to argue and defend yourself and fight your case, but we're also going to show you the proper way that the case needs to look for the courts. That's another important thing. You can't just, people think, oh, I can just sit down and pull out a computer and type up a lawsuit and take it to court. That's not the way it goes. The clerk of courts will give you a big fat get out of here and come back with your daddy, your attorney, or go to school and learn, because there's a proper procedure and a proper way that every single motion, lawsuit, anything that you take before the court, it's got to be set up a certain way. And we teach you that along the way. Again, it's not about the font. It's about how big the font is. It's about where is the font at? Where is the title at? Is it properly, the proper captions in the motion? All of those things are very important, because even though you may be a strong pro se litigant, you will get every single motion or anything you try to file in court rejected if you do not properly learn the proper technique that the court requires. And let me tell you something else. Every court is different. It's not all the same. So you can't just go and, because the Lucas County Court of Common Pleas accepted it this way, the Northern District of Ohio is going to accept it that way. That's, again, going to get a big fat rejection because you did not properly hit that document the proper way. So we teach you all of this. That's the value that you're getting, along with all of the other things that he just mentioned. So, so I think this was good. I think this was something we needed to do. That way we could get, hear the public could hear from both perspectives of what this was about. It's a perfect day to get people together that may or may not listen to us. But again, we may get somebody else that says, hey, I need your help. We'll assist you with the guy that just fender bumped you. We'll assist you with whatever situation you're going through. We can help you, but you got to want to reach out to us. So everything is on the screen. FCNWatchdog@gmail.com is our email. You can find us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. There's multiple Facebook groups. There's 3 YouTube channels. We are everywhere. The last time I checked, we have over 250,000 people that we're reaching so far amongst all of our platforms. So with that being said, our voice is being heard. People are being interested in what we're doing, and we appreciate it. We thank you for it. So that was all this was about. Anything else to add, Mr. Amato?
No, man. I just like my blood pressure is up right now thinking about that Mark Montgomery fuck dude. Like, I hate that guy. I fucking hate that guy. You just don't know I hate that guy.
Well, I mean, I know you do, but see, when you say that, just remember to expound on it when we're live, because somebody might just chime in and just hear you say, I hate that guy and don't know why. When you say, you might get, we just got another live person watching us just right now. And the first thing they heard is, I hate that guy. So when you say, I hate that guy, just give a sentence or two of why.
Because he lied on my daughter and he lied on me. So it's really not so much as a matter of principle for my daughter. It's also a matter of justice for her and a justice for myself, because he was willing to put me under a bus that I wasn't even on, dude. And
That's right.
And defame me and make me look like something that I'm not. And I got a big problem with that, man. And I don't like this guy. I just don't like him. Legally, he's going to suffer the consequences of as much energy as I can put into this lawsuit. Dude, I told you, in the end, I really want to see his kids sitting in the audience crying as they take their daddy away.
Well, I mean, and really, I mean, and to you, it's not big. Well, I mean, it is big to you, but it's the biggest thing that sticks out to me is that we have a public official that literally told a grand jury that you sexually assaulted your own daughter so that he could secure a fake ass indictment on a file. Well, that's that bothers me the most.
I can't say that he said that to the grand jury, but it's likely that he did, because he put that shit in a report and he never brought that report into court. Like all of the lies that he put on that report, it's like 19 or 24 pages, but I think where he said the shit that he said my daughter said was on page 19, because they were going to use they were going to use that as saying that her motive to burn down the place was because of the fact that I had done this to her. But she wasn't even talking about me, dude. Wasn't even talking about me. So that's what I'm saying. This guy has either, one, met his qualified immunity dismissal by being a fucking incompetent, I believe is the word, that he's incompetent. That will remove his qualified immunity, or malicious. So he's either an idiot or he's malicious. So he's a malicious idiot, as I like to combine the two, because he did not look at the whole entire text conversation. He simply just lied, dude. He lied on almost every single thing that he said. Everything to where he said my daughter didn't know the last name of her friend. He said that she said that in the interview, but they played the interview in court, and she clearly told her friend's last name. Dude's such a lie. He lied on everything, dude.
Yeah. So what I'm asking, well, so then what the heck? Explain why Kate Brown is involved.
Well, because if she's a fire investigator too, she's seen this evidence. She sat in court with him the entire time. So she was a witness that was permitted to remain in the courtroom the entire time. But all of the other witnesses weren't. Remember all of the fire and police that came in to give their testimony. Well, you weren't there on the first day, but on the second day, there was, I don't know, they had like a total of 14 witnesses between police and fire people. and I was listed as a witness, but they never used me because they knew I would ruin everything. So they, just use their witnesses there. And how was I explaining this? I lost my train of thought really quick. What was I saying, bro?
You were talking about they were using their witnesses. I was trying to understand how Kate Brown was involved.
Oh yeah, so she got to stay the entire time, while all those other witnesses that I mentioned only got to come in when they were mentioned. They had to stay out in the hallway. So when it was their turn to give testimony, they would give it and then they would leave. She got to give testimony too, and she got to stay in there the whole time, which tells me that she was actually part of the investigation, and she's seen the actual video, she's seen all the evidence, and she knew it was all bullshit. And anybody that's on enlisting right now, yes, my daughter was acquitted. She was found not guilty. That doesn't change the fact that they lied, and that's why we're going after them for lying. And for them, the lawsuit is because they wouldn't go after this ugly fuck that you see on the screen right there. They wouldn't go after him for doing all the lies that he did on my daughter. I talked to his fire chief. I talked to the chief battalion, and they told me they're going to let the court handle it. So you know what? You did let the court handle it, and they said that they would take care of it afterwards, and they didn't. And you know what? Now I'm going to let the court handle it, and that's where we're at today. We're going to let the court handle it.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is the scam on the screen.
So he's now listed in the lawsuit. Oh, I love your smile. I hope there's tears one day. So him. The Toledo fire chief is listed. The chief battalion, Jeremy Vedra, is listed. The chief of police is listed. The mayor is listed. State of Ohio is listed. Lucas County is listed. City of Toledo is listed. David Burrell is listed. Mike Loisel, Charles Roger Hall Jr., and the Lucas County prosecutor, Julia Bates, all are named as defendants in this case.
Now, I know you're ready to get off because I know you don't like to go as long as I do. But real quick, so Julia Bates' only reason in it being mentioned is because of the misconduct that she allowed that happen through David Burrell. And because I want to make sure that the public that is listening, they hear everything correctly so they don't get the wrong perception. Because when you say Julia Bates and you don't say why, then they want to know, because she's a known name. Yeah. So it's because of what happened under, just like the old saying, what happens at the top trickles down. Basically, it's what they did below her is why she's named, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I did everything that I possibly could to get it resolved, to talk to the higher ups in the prosecutor's office. And as far as I was able to get was Mike Loisel, who's now listed in the lawsuit. His above him, I guess, is Julia Bates. I don't know if there's anyone in between the two of them, but I've complained. I've done everything that I could. Nobody has taken me serious. I've reached out through the mayor's office, through his assistant. It's really weird on the procedures to get a hold of these people, and they really don't make it clear on what you're supposed to do in order to go through the complaints. So I make the phone calls. I'm old school. I'm doing things the way that I should. And I leave very detailed, important messages. And if those messages aren't detailed and important enough to warrant a phone call back from your department or warrant an email or warrant some type of communication, then you absolutely have no desire or interest in hearing any information about what's going on. So I have no choice but to move forward with the court system, because the courts required that I go through following the proper procedures of contacting, and I did my job. I contacted the people I was supposed to. They all went with ears closed, eyes closed, and said, fuck me. And so I went on to file a motion, and they wanted to dismiss it. So I went and I did it a fuck you amended motion and addressed every issue that they have. Let them address another issue. Let them say they want to dismiss it for another reason. I'm going to address the shit out of that issue, and I'm going to make the other two issues that they wanted to dismiss it even stronger than they are right now, and then strengthen the current issue that they want to dismiss on. we could keep fucking rolling. And the goddamn, I will make sure that the statute of limitations doesn't start to run out until the day that these motions stop going forth, because you're not going to play the fucking run the clock game with me. I'll tell you that much.
Right. Which is exactly, obviously State Farm did that to me. So, yeah. I mean, in this document, 110 exhibits, I mean, I don't know what else I have to prove what State Farm did. And when you go to court, it's all about what you prove. It's not about what you feel. It's not about what you think or what your opinion is. You better not come to court and not be able to prove everything that you state. And the reality of it is, the reason why our cases are so strong is not only did these guys do these open violations, but then they left a paper trail. They left the evidence easy enough for us to be able to say to the court, wait a second, why wasn't this addressed? Yep. Why wasn't this? You were supposed to be the elected official. Why is this being, why are you letting this skate by and nobody's being held accountable? And so that's the reality. And so you and I have strong situations before the court right now, both federally. I've got the state of Supreme Court case and 2 federal court cases, one against McNeil Chevrolet. We know the history of what they did. And now they sneakingly sailed the dealership August 4th in the middle of a civil rights complaint that's in federal court. It's the biggest scam ever. And General Motors doesn't want to be held accountable for that. They don't. You sit at the top. You're the parent company. You allowed this dealership to address me as Harambe and the Toby and the Token Black for 7 years until I resigned.
Yep.
These are not stuff I'm making up. I didn't just wake up one day and say I want to attack McNeil's. No, these bastards called me impersonating the Swanton Police Department, all in the midst of what was going on with State Farm.
Yep.
And State Farm never called them or investigated them or questioned them. And I was the finance manager for 7 years. How does that happen?
Yeah, you ain't heard from them in a while. And then all of a sudden, Mindy calls you out of nowhere. And then you call back. And then you call again, right? And then...
Yeah, I called her back a few times and then I text her. And, because me and Mindy, I thought back in the past we had a former friendship when I worked at McNeil's. I thought we were all friends. This was all my family. This is what I thought. So I'm thinking, she's calling me back. They're going to maybe they want to talk to me about a job. I don't know what the hell it is. But then instead I get a voice message from the owner of the dealership talking about he's with the Swanton Police Department. Now, anybody else that impersonates a police department will go to jail for that at the second that they do it. But nothing's done about it. State Farm don't even question them. And yet you want to tell me you're investigating me? Why didn't you call my former employer, who happens to be right around the damn corner from the business? I'm not saying that they were the ones that wrote nigger on the wall of my business, but if this is the culture where I was jokingly called Harambe and Gorilla, Toby the Black, Toby and the Token Black, then who's to say that there wasn't an individual at that dealership that was upset that I still had a business in Swanton?
Yeah, could very well be.
I don't know. All of them out there are connected. Swanton is a scamified town where everybody knows everybody. So it could have been a situation where there was somebody at McNeil's. Well, we'll never know. You know why? Because State Farm never questioned them. Can't question them now because they're ballast.
You know what would be a good thing to find out? Marquise, my brain just thought of something.
I love it. We're live. I love when you put stuff out there like that. When the magic happens and we're live and people are watching, what did just drop in your head?
Well, you mentioned somebody working at the dealership, right?
What do you mean?
You mentioned it could have been somebody at the delership that did it, right? It could have been, right?
It could have been. I'm not saying it was, but I'm saying it could have been.
Right.
Why didn't State Farm question them? They were investigating me.
Why don't a good thing to be able to find out, because I know they keep records of it, because there was a train that drove by that day, right?
Yep.
Let's find out, because people that drive trains in these areas around here, they're people that live around here. You know what I'm saying? They drive to certain yards and come back and stuff. They're not driving most of the time across the whole country. So I mean, there are some select that have that option, but most of them aren't doing that. See if the guy on record that drove the train that day is any relation to any of the people that are related to this case. Just curious. Be worth seeing, because somebody would know that train schedule and use that to know to block the camera would be blocked at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because remember, they pulled up the video that they have, which I have the copy of the video. I have a copy of the video that they supposedly used as their evidence, right? The video clearly shows a train is blocking my store. The only thing that they have on the video is my sister leaving the store. She left the store at the time that she told me she was going to leave on text. I got the text messages to prove it. A train's blocking the store entrance all of this time.
Whose video was that?
Somebody that was somewhere where the police got it. I don't know if the police got it from one of the businesses in Swanton. I think it was a fellow business owner downtown Swanton. If I'm not mistaken, it's the winery that is right there at the corner of one of them side streets that was right down the street from Tano's Pizza. So I think that's where the video shows an angle from that store. So it's showing the opposite side of the main street of Swanton, Ohio, and it's facing the building. So in other words, it was a business on the opposite side of the tracks that had a camera that was obviously facing my business. However, a train comes in front of that. So you can't see what happens to the business because of the damn train.
It's almost like perfect timing.
And that train runs every so often in Swanton. It's the same train that runs throughout the day. So it runs multiple times out the day because, see, that train was the reason why I chose that location to open up the business. Because when that train stops so much throughout the day, there'd be a line of cars in front of my business every day looking at nothing. So I figured my business plan was, let me light this corner up, so that if you're sitting at the stoplight or at this train waiting for the train, you have no option but to look over to the left. And that's what it was a brilliant idea because it's what drove our business. So that train is the same train that runs throughout Swanton multiple times throughout the day. However, when the Swanton police arrived to the business, they didn't show up till 7:15. And then when I was talking to my Shaq the other day about the whole fingerprint situation, they brought a damn portable fingerprint thing to this business and dusted my fingerprints on the property of the business and told me this was standard procedure.
Scam.
And then the next day said, bring your sister in here so we can get a statement from her. And then instead of it turning into a statement, it turned into them putting me in one room and putting her in another room and them interrogating us. The Swanton Police Department. They got the cameras of it. We got the cameras of it. We got the video of it. I got the video of what they were saying, what they was doing to my sister. Here it is. She wasn't even at the building. So no, these guys are going to be held accountable for their scam. I don't care what they try to do to wiggle out of it. They're going to be held accountable for it.
Yeah, just whatever we do, we don't give up, and we're gonna win. I'll tell you, I know I got a $10 million lawsuit. I don't care if we walk out of there, dude. If Reagan walks out of there with enough to take care of her for life for a little while, and I mean a good little while, and that guy goes to jail, happy. I'm happy.
Just, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. Should we open anyway? Just if she walks out with the dollars and the guy doesn't go to jail, you're telling me that you're not satisfied with that.
I would be bitter if he doesn't go to jail. I would be upset. But if he doesn't lose his job, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off, dude. I mean, am I gonna go violent and do something violent? No, that's what everybody always wants to assume. No, that's not going to happen. But yeah, I won't be at peace if he keeps his job. You know, he needs to at least lose his job, dude, to where I can at least try to find a way to get some peace. I'll be able to try to find justice in that. But true justice is I won't say if he goes to jail, but true justice will be if he gets prosecuted. That'll be true justice. And if 12 people feel that he was innocent, I have to accept that.
Right.
But he
Right.
needs to be prosecuted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm just thankful that we have this platform now. We have our own voice. We can talk as long as we want about however many scams we want. Nobody can censor us. Nobody can tell us what we can and can't say. And hey, you know, Toledo 11 News, Toledo 13 News, 24, Fox News, you all are scams. I said it. You're scams. You know why? Because you didn't want to take any of these stories and put them out to the public because you're probably protecting your buddies. I know how it works. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And that's why you chose not to cover our stories. But you know what? We've been covering our own stories. And now we've got a crowd of people that are watching us, and we don't need your support.
Yeah, fuck them, man. And did you see that thing with Alexis Means? Like some guy had said something to her because she posted a post about how did she say it? A dead guy was found in a car or something like that. And you know, she could have worded that, you know, more sensitively. You know, she could have said a man was found, you know, passed away in his vehicle or something like that. You know, not knowing the name of the person, but you know, you just a dead guy. You know,
right? And the family's probably was the family even notified yet? I can't stand that idiot.
And
She's an idiot. She looks like a man. I don't like her. I can't stand her at all. Now, was the man found? So what was the situation? Was the family even notified before she said that?
Well, I think the guy that responded to her saying that said that guy, that dead guy was a father, was a brother, was this, that. I think he was related to him. And then
That's what I'm saying.
And then she made a post saying, you know, sorry for the, you know, insensitive. And I wanted to get on there, but I was logged in as FCN at the time. I wanted to get on there and say, this bitch ain't sorry for shit. She don't give a fuck about who she upsets, you know what, you responding and getting mad gave her more fucking attention, got her more likes, got her more whatever. That's all it did. That she's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck Alexa.
Yeah, no, you keep talking about her right now because I'm gonna find out where that story is. Keep talking, can you real fast? I'm gonna find that story and I'm gonna put a post up right now. And I'm gonna do it from FCN. So tell me what you just said again. Like I want you to tell me. Hold on. Are you listening? Bill.
Yeah.
What happened?
I accidentally logged out.
You're a scam. All right. I want you to say the same thing real fast because I want to do a FCN Watchdog Media.
Hold on a second. Delta, come here. Come. I said come. Come here. What are you out there barking at? Huh? What are you barking at, baby girl?
Now tell me what she did again.
She made a post somewhere, you know, one of her main stories. A dead guy was found in a car, you know, off of Manhattan, East Manhattan somewhere. And a guy was bothered by that. And I can see why, you know, because the way that she words that is so fucking insensitive. You know, he gets on there. I can't remember if he's his son or cousin or whatever the case may be. Let's just say for shits and giggles just for the point of the story to get across, let's just say it's his son. This guy gets on there and say, this guy was a father. He was a um, a son. He was a friend. He was an uncle or whatever. And it was very insensitive, for you to say that about a dead guy, being found in a car. He wasn't just some dead guy. And then she got on there and apologized and said, sorry, for wording it insensitively. And I'm like, she don't give a fuck. If she don't care if it's insensitive, she doesn't care about shit. She just wants the fucking attention. She's a piece of shit when it comes to a news reporter. Fuck her. She should be covering this story about the dirt they did to my daughter. So this is what this fucking lady did, man. And I don't like her. Fuck her. I don't give a shit. She can get on, talk about me all she wants. She probably will. Fuck her. But anyway, she fucking the neighbor across the street who provided the I guess it was the video to the police department for the fire across the street from them, which was my building that burned down, my home. And he called about 6 months later because the cleanup hadn't happened yet. Cleanup was supposed to happen, but my insurance company wouldn't do it until the case was over. So after the case was over, by that time, the cleanup had already happened, but he called into the news complaining that the cleanup was, still there and they wanted it cleaned up. And, so she reported that on the news and then went to say, let's add extra. Rather than talk about the cleanup, let's add extra to it. The result of the mess is an arson case, which involves Reagan Amato, who's currently, she didn't need to say, yeah, it's public information, but let the public go get it. You decided to put that out there, and that's why Alexis Means is a fucking piece of shit. And I hope that I really hope that karma visits her in such a way that her life is just fucking shreds. I do. I really hope that her life gets torn to shreds. And you know what? I wonder if there's even any legal basis for me to even file a lawsuit against her for that. You know what? I'm going to investigate that. And if I can, Alexis Means, I'm going to be filing a lawsuit against you. That's what I'm going to do, because your intent was to do harm when you did that. Nobody called about that. That wasn't public information that needed to be divulged, but you decided it did need to be public information to be divulged. And yes, I'm going to sue you if I can. That's what's going to happen. Me and my daughter.
So are you talking about so when that was said, she made that up?
Who, Alexis Means?
Yeah.
No, she didn't make it up. She decided to just tell the fucking public about it. The guy didn't call about the fact that, hey, the lady across the street burned her house down and she's in jail and they won't clean it up over there. He called in about the cleanup over there, and Alexis Means decided that she wanted to fucking tell the world on the news that my daughter was currently facing charges for arson of it. And that was because she called the day before to talk to my daughter. Damn, that's what she looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely not the lady that I thought. Okay, that's definitely not that pretty lady. Pretty lady. So,
I told you she looks like a man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a 10, which gives me the right to pedal black.
She looks like a scam.
Oh yeah.
She's such a scam, man.
Yeah.
And the reality is, nobody will call the news on their scam. They just let them say whatever they want to say. Because what did she say about your daughter? Didn't she post? She was the one that posted the whole story about your daughter, wasn't she?
Yes, it was her. Then there was no reason for her to do it. There was just no reason for her to do it. And I'm going to see if she can be sued. And
look at it right now and tell me if you can. I'm just anxious to know.
okay. All right. I'm going to have to pause. Well, I'm not going to pause, but I'm going to have to mute. Okay. Because I want people to know how I do what I do.
Oh, yeah. You can mute. No problem. This is good.
All right. So I'm going to keep talking. And the moment you can't hear me anymore, say, Bill, I can't hear you talking. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the moment
I can't hear you talking. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. So Alexis means you're a scam. And right now we're getting ready to figure out if there's a way that there can be some legal action filed against you. You scam.
Silver Law Firm is a scam.
Yeah, I'm going to make this publicly known because I think it's publicly known. I want it to be publicly known. Marquise is a master when it comes to social media. He has the ability to take the truth and destroy you with the truth. Now, if you want to fuck around and find out, you can fuck around and find out. Or you could start being honest and doing shit the right way. Now, I heard you beating up on my brother, and I wanted to come in that day. I was pissed. I was extremely pissed. And then you said you wanted to make me a witness. You didn't, did you? Told you wasn't gonna, because you can't make me be a witness for you, not unless you follow the right steps. And if you do follow the right steps, you best believe that that damn subpoena is gonna come with some rules. You better fucking believe it. I get here, pull up next to the police officer, get out of the car, says he's looking for me, and guess what? Protection order. Now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this fucking thing, and I don't see any signature on here anywhere from a judge or a magistrate or fucking anything like that. It's just clerk, deputy, whatever. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Okay, first off, I didn't stalk nobody. I don't stalk people. I never been to your fucking page. I never been to your goddamn place of business, but one time a couple years ago with Marquise. A couple years ago. Other than that, don't give a entire fuck about you. About you attorneys fucking with people's lives, right? So he goes after. And yeah, I'm on his side. So I see what's being done. The evidence is in my face. Yeah, I'm gonna say what I gotta say because it's the freedom of fucking speech. It's not harassment to speak the truth. If the truth hurts you, then that's not my fucking problem. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to speak the fucking truth. My job is to expose, okay? Not dispose. Expose. You just
that. I did get a call later from Mrs. McShirley, the mom. I knew that's the mom because she called to see if I could talk to State Farm about not having the water shut off at the building. And I explained to her that State Farm has nothing to do with that. You'd have to talk to either the water department because she commented they wanted to do some cleanup and they were going to need to have water. And, I told her, I said, State Farm doesn't have anything to do with that. Check with the water department or the village. And I think she had talked to the village. I don't know what about. But I don't really have recollection of much else that she specifically called about that water issue. And I know that was the mom, and that's why I was thinking the daughter had called me before. But I don't know either of the first names.
And approximately when was that?
When she called me?
Yeah, that conversation.
It had to be later because the daughter had called me first based on my inquiry to see if if there's any chance that property might be available for rent for that other
Lies
person.
are
I got that happened first, and then Mrs. McShirley, when she called me, I don't know if that was in June or July. I really don't know, and I don't have any record of it. I just remember that she called.
Of our rights. Jeff Lambert, Swanton, Ohio.
Did she ask whether or not the claim had been denied?
This is a scam.
No, she didn't. But you know, it's funny you bring that up, because the day she called me about that water, she said, I heard the claim was denied. And I said, really? I don't think I knew that at that point in time. I didn't know the claim was denied until Lonnie, who was the claim rep, called just to let me know, Jeff, I just want you to be aware that claim was denied. But he didn't give me any specifics. I've never seen the denial letter. I'm not sure why it was denied. But yeah, she did. I found it odd that she knew that, because I have no idea who she heard it from.
And is it typical for you to not hear whether claims get approved or denied, or is that something that you follow up with?
Well, I don't follow up with it, but you know, it's pretty rare things are denied. I've been an agent 35 years, and I can probably count on one hand, you know, cases that might have been denied. Probably not even all 5 fingers. So yeah, it's pretty rare. But so I don't know what the protocol is, other than I know Lonnie called me just to let me know. But he didn't get into any details, and that, you know, I don't think they get.
All right.
All right. So on the legal side, it doesn't look like there's much that I can do. I'm probably going to have to investigate a little bit more, but there are some other things that I can do. And I have to consider whether or not it's worth my time. But, you know, there's certain strategies that we can take, which we'll talk about off air, about this particular issue regarding this woman. And nothing that would be illegal, of course. I always want to make that clear, that any side notes that him and I decide to talk about off air would all be a part of strategy, just in case they're listening in, that they can't take proper defense against themselves for whatever action that we may take, which all action that we take are always going to be within the perimeters of the law, and so on and so forth. So if something just mysteriously happened or something like that, just for the record, we have nothing to do with it. We have zero intents on anything about that. We absolutely wish zero harm to any of these people, except, you know, we do wish legal harm, and that's the most harm that we wish. That type of harm in such a the strongest way possible, especially when it comes to Mark Montgomery. Yeah. I hope that you go through substantial physical harm, that from all the worrying and stress that you're going to hopefully go through. I hope that it does as much damage to you as it did to my daughter. I hope so. I hope it does worse, because you knew better. You know, you knew you shouldn't do the things like that. You're a public official. You took an oath, man. You fucking used your power in a bad way to try to do whatever reason you had to do it, whether you needed to try to move your career forward, or you just didn't fucking like me for whatever reason. You know, I don't know, whatever the problem is that you had, that you did what you did, just not cool. And yeah, I don't really give 2 shits why you did it. Doesn't matter. You knew better, and you shouldn't have done it. And you should get double the punishment of what anybody in that situation, like for what my daughter, you should get double the punishment of what she would have gotten if she was found guilty. So what was been like fucking 16 years or something like that, you should get 32, motherfucker.
And here's the bottom line when it comes down to all of my cases. The ultimate bottom line fault lies in State Farm's hands. State Farm can make everybody's life a lot easier legally if they just assumed the position and manned up. They have made my life a living hell based upon all of the things that they've done. It's now public docket information that shows all of the misconduct by State Farm, their attorneys, the agent, everybody involved in this situation. At the end of the day, I would be willing to close the other actions I have against all of these other places if State Farm would stand up and take on the accountability, because everything started with State Farm. Everything.
Sure.
They're the ones that allowed this to go on so long. They're the ones that did everything they could to not allow this case to be heard before a jury. And now I'm not going to stop, as it's evident. It's obviously evidence that I'm not going to stop when you look at the fact that there's 110 exhibits with the Supreme Court case now. I'm calling out any misconduct. So are you. We are not, just like I said, looking just to attack the innocent people. But if you are a public official and you are living a scam, then we are going to expose you and we're going to hold you accountable to every we possibly can. That goes for judges, attorneys, anybody. Doesn't matter. I filed a complaint against the judge that signed that fake ass protection order. You know why? Because, Judge, you were elected to look at evidence.
Yep, that's
you
right.
get the protection order on somebody because they feel bad. What kind of a judge is that? There should be some consequence for you. You should be held accountable for that. And this is what we're about. Accountability is our name.
Yep.
So
yep. You just remember you and I were going to talk off camera about how I'm going to strategically move forward on the Shinover case. Okay.
I will come by right now. I'm going to end this broadcast and I'll be over.
Okay. Well, drive carefully, man.
All right.
All right. Bye. See you, everybody.
See you.